All right, guys, time for another episode of your favorite guy on a treadmill, getting his steps in. Today's topic, we're going to talk about, this is a funny one, but you are the prize. Now, I'm smiling just from how ridiculous that sentence is, but you know what I'm talking about. You clicked on this video, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but this sentence has spread amongst the woman sphere and the manosphere from both sides. And the delusion around it from both sides is totally out of control. Let me explain. Let's have a discussion about whether or not you are the prize or not. Whether you watching are a man or a woman. Now, if you do enjoy this kind of content, hit that subscribe button. I know I'm a broken record. For some reason, people just are too lazy. Bruh. Bro, if you're too lazy to scroll down and hit that subscribe button, then you are not the prize, my friend. You are only the prize if you subscribe. Okay, so let's start this off with the more fun one, where women are told they are the prize, right? Now, why are women and men told this actually? I think the original intentions were good about it. I think trying to tell people that they are the prize is trying to just like get their self-confidence up. Know your worth is kind of like a synonym for it. Like, you know what I'm talking about? I think that's all kind of, on the surface, it's all kind of good stuff, right? Like, know your worth, you are the prize. Don't have boundaries, don't settle, that kind of stuff, right? Now, where this kind of starts getting a little iffy between the genders, I shouldn't have said that word, whatever. Where this gets iffy between the genders is when both genders think that they are the prize. And we'll dive deeper into it, but the reason why that's a problem is because when social media says you are the prize, it kind of gives you this arrogance about you that you can just kind of like stand back and do nothing and expect everyone to come to you and to pander to you because you're the prize, right? You should have your Prince Charming on a white horse ride up to you and carry you away because you're the prize, right? Now, what do you think that does to a woman's psychology, though? She doesn't want to have to work for her partner. She doesn't want to have to help. She doesn't want to have to she doesn't want to have to court the opposite sex. Right? She doesn't want to have to cook or clean. I'm not saying that's all women have to do, but you know what I'm saying. Like the idea of serving the relationship makes them like a little bit resentful because they were always taught that they were the prize, right? Now, again, why this is a problem. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. Didn't sleep very well. On the man's side of things, when they are taught that they are the prize, now it's kind of like this new red pill kind of, it's almost like a movement. That's kind of what it feels like. It feels like the know your worth movement for men is kind of like this conglomeration or this union of guys that kind of don't want to have to serve a woman for their entire life because they shouldn't feel like they shouldn't have to, which I kind of agree with. Now, where the delusion comes in for the man side of things, okay, so how do you know, when it comes to a man, knowing if you're the prize or not is quite objective in terms of women will let you know if they're fighting for you. And if women aren't trying to get in your vicinity, or they aren't trying to be around you, they're not gonna make the first move. But if they're not actively trying to be around you, then I'm sorry, but you are not the prize, my friend. And when I say that, I mean like, okay, let me put it this way. It sucks talking about objective measurements because women don't really care about that, but objective measurements is the easiest way to explain these concepts, where if you're a fat dude and you're broke and you're not funny, thinking that you're the prize doesn't actually help you. That's where I have, and the same goes for women too. It's even, I would even argue it might be even worse for the woman's side, because some of these girls are like, brother, like, ladies, most of you are not the prize. Jesus. And it's like, you like, so when you talk to a girl, you can tell if they feel like they are, in terms of like the brainwashing. And it's like the demands that some of these women have is kind of off-putting to me personally. Even though I check those boxes, I don't want to have to check those boxes. Do you know what I'm saying? And I would rather be with a girl. So put it this way. This is for the ladies. If you were a guy and you had a selection of two women, one of them didn't know she was the prize, and one of them did. Let's say they were both like very attractive and very sweet girls, just that they're the same. If you were a guy, which one would you pick? You would pick the one that didn't know she was the prize, because that one would just be much more fun to be around. Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the same thing when it comes to body counts is kind of related, where, again, this goes for both genders too. If you date a guy that has had like 100 partners, he kind of knows that he's the prize, in terms of he can just go and get another girl or go back to one of his exes at any point, right? And that makes you feel very insecure because you always have to be on your best behavior or he's gonna bounce, right? Now, on the women's side of things, it actually doesn't make them the prize, but it makes them think they're the prize in the liberal world. So if you date a girl who's had 100 sexual partners, that means she has 100 exes to go back to, right? You're not gonna wanna select that shit. You would much rather have the girl that doesn't have those experiences, right? And it's a funny conundrum, because on the one hand, you wanna have experiences, but the more experiences you have, the less exciting relationships become, because there's nothing more to experience. Anyway, we'll save that for another topic. That just kind of came to my head there. But anyway, so when it comes to, back to the objective thing when it comes to men. If you're obese, oh my God, back to the women part of it, yeah. If you're like an obese girl and you're rude and you just like, you're not a pleasant person to be. There's this one girl I know, man. God, I feel so bad for her because she's very overweight. Here's the thing, man. Okay, I have this one IRL friend. I wouldn't call her a friend. I've known her for like 10 years. More of like an acquaintance. And brother, is she obese. Holy shit. She is a big girl. But, okay. Brother, holy shit. I'm trying to think about how to articulate these words, but like, she is so aggressive when it comes to hitting on guys. I guess because she has to be, maybe, I don't know. But like, she'll like grab your dick and shit. Like she's like aggressive, right? And she's been God, when I talk with her, when I talk with her, it feels like I'm talking to a brainwashed social media bot in terms of this girl truly, I believe if you put her to a lie detector test, she truly does not understand how unattractive she is. She has no idea. She truly thinks that she's the prize. Dude, I'm talking, this girl's like a 0.5 out of 10. Like, she is one of the most unattractive people I have ever come across in my entire life. I've never seen her with a boyfriend. I've never seen her 10 feet within a guy that isn't running the other way. Like, this girl's an absolute ogre, okay? It's I know it sounds very mean, but I'm trying to paint a picture for the viewer of what kind of a person we're talking about, right? And social media has told this poor girl that she is the prize and that she shouldn't settle and that she has more to offer. Dude, I'm literally quoting this. I have more to offer than my looks and my birthing ability. Okay. She's literally said these words, man. And I talked to her recently, a couple of months ago, actually. That's why she's in my head right now. But like, okay. I guess this is the part that kind of breaks my heart a little bit. Telling that girl that she's if social media says, you go girl, you are the prize, don't settle for less, etc. And this poor girl has been completely brainwashed with this shit, okay? What that basically did is that brainwashing condemned this girl to be alone forever. She shouldn't have to improve because she's the prize. So she's been obese for the last 10 years. I've never seen that girl lose weight. It's getting worse, actually. So it's like, she's gonna be alone forever. I know she wants a partner. She's desperate for a partner. That's why she's grabbing dicks and shit. She's desperate. She's throwing her cooch around, trying to get anything, and nobody's biting. The girl's not the prize. Objectively speaking, because no man is trying to hit that, objectively speaking, she's not the prize. But she thinks she is. So what the hell is the point? So here's the thing. Okay, let's back up and zoom out for a second. It breaks my heart because that girl shouldn't have to be alone. She's been brainwashed to be alone. Now here's the thing. Let's say she's a 0 out of 10 right now. If she just lost 50 pounds and just wasn't completely repulsive with her personality, let's say she even upgrades herself to a 3 or a 4, puts on a nice dress or something, I don't know, right? Then she might be able to get a 3 or 4 dude. And at least be happy with that 3 or 4 dude and so here's the thing. Because this girl thinks she's the prize, she's never gonna go for a 3 or 4 dude, which means that now a female is gonna die alone, and one male that's supposed to have a partner now is also gonna die alone because she's been brainwashed by this you are the prize mentality. And it's, man, now it's also not my problem. I'm not gonna befriend the girl and help her and try to undo 20 years of you go girl wiring. I don't give a shit, right? It's not my problem. I just feel really bad for these people, man. Now, I feel like guys aren't as delusional when it comes okay, I think guys are kind of delusional in the other way, where they actually okay. So guys are funny enough, more a little bit more complicated in terms of how they view themselves, right? So men are told they are the prize, and you shouldn't settle, and don't date what do they use? Like don't date like a promiscuous gal kind of thing, right? Like don't be her girlfriend, don't date single moms. This is all good advice. It's all good stuff, right? Know your worth. But like consistently, you actually see men like downgrading themselves a lot. Did you see here's the thing. Did you see Henry Cavill and his girlfriend or his wife or whatever? She's like a 5 at best, brother. So like psychologically, so it could be multiple things there, but psychologically speaking, Henry Cavill's kind of a nerd, which is not in a bad way. He's like a Warhammer nerd, right? He doesn't. I bet you he doesn't see himself as a 10. He doesn't see himself that way, right? A lot of guys have this problem, where you'll actually encounter this is I've encountered this. That's how I know. If you are a very overweight, obese guy, and you start hitting the gym regularly, and you lose a bunch of weight, and let's say you actually get in really good shape, you get a nice haircut and shit, and you're very attractive now. So you're still gonna have the same approach anxiety to the same girls, and that takes a long time to get over. So let me explain. Guys are like, it's so fascinating, dude. We have to like, whereas when a woman is told she is the prize, she doesn't seem to have a problem internalizing that. Whereas when a man is told he is the prize, they seem to have issues internalizing it, right? Which I've been there, trust me. Where like, you're like an attractive dude, you're funny, you're not like rich, you're just like okay. Like let's say you're just like a 6 out of 10 on the scale and everything. You're just like a normal ass dude. If you approach that really attractive girl and just say hi, you will get it's even though it's an irrational fear, you'll get anxiety and fear out of it. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. But if you actually do it, most of the time, you actually get a good response out of it. Like they're usually really nice. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And it's like the crazy. But if you approach the ogre, you can slay that no problem kind of thing, right? So it's like, for some reason, it's almost like men are brainwashed in the reverse order, where even if they level up their prize, so to speak, they don't believe they're the prize still. And then so most guys that are like 7 out of 10, they'll still settle for single moms and like low-hanging fruit and shit, right? Because that's where okay, so let me back this up. What a person settles for is what they think they are worth. Let me repeat that one more time. What a person settles for is what they think they are worth. Okay? Now, there are pros and cons to that. As you can probably guess, big pros and cons. Now, okay. Okay. What happens when, okay, this is so fascinating. What happens when a woman who hits like mid-30s, she thinks she's the prize, but settles? So think about that. So a girl who thinks that, so there's a girl, let's say she's like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, whatever. No problem getting boyfriends. Let's say she's been brainwashed to think she's the prize. She approaches her mid-30s. Time is running out to have a family. She finds the first putz that will settle for her. Now, to that guy, he's like, wow, he believes she's the prize. He doesn't understand what's happening there, right? Therefore, he's gonna supplicate to her, right? Now, internally, she's thinking, I am actually the prize, and yet I had to settle for this guy. So subconsciously, she knows that guy is the best that she could do at that moment. But she still will always resent him and herself because she thinks she's better than that. It's a big problem. Massive problem. This is the biggest fucking issue, okay? Of like infidelity and cheating and shit and divorce. Other than money, I mean, but just bear with me. It's a big problem. Why is it a big problem? Let's say she's had, trust me, ask me how I know, okay? Ask me how I know. You can be on the other end of this too. I'll explain in a second. She settled for this guy, but she still thinks she's the prize. In her past, she has dated men that are better than him. Not objectively, but just she thinks they're better. They could be bums, you have no idea. It's like money and looks actually don't really matter, but like if like any guy that broke up with her, basically, in her past, automatically makes them above the guy that she settled for, right? Now, what happens 2 or 3 years down the line, 4 years, she still thinks she's the prize, and her husband is all like, happy wife, happy life, you know what I'm talking about. Old Chad slides in her DMs. Hey, what are you up to? Let's go catch up. This was one of the ones that got away. This guy was one of the ones that made her feel like the prize. Gone. That's it. And she will throw away years with this guy that she settled for. And the reason why they do that is because they do that because they want to validate their existence of them being the prize. Does that make sense? If she can land this guy once and for all that broke her heart in the past or whatever, if she can land this dude, then that means she was the prize all along. And she didn't have to settle for this beta. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's why she'll sleep with them. She'll have like affairs with them. She will try anything. She'll give them money. She'll do anything possible to land the other guy while in a marriage with the other guy. It's insane, bro. It's insane. Be very, very careful when it comes to these women that think they're the prize, okay? It's very difficult to find a woman that's very self-aware and humble. Do not go for these prize chicks. The ones that think they are. Now, dude, I've met some girls that are stunning. Like 10 out of 10. Like they are drop dead gorgeous, okay? And they're like nervous when they talk to you and they don't know they're attractive. Oh, dude, these ones are the best. And they're like sweet and shit. You're just like, holy shit, you haven't been brainwashed. You know, like, dude, those chicks are the best, brother. Like, there's so much chemistry with those girls because they're just like, it's so like, I don't know. I'm just like, it's like, you are so adorable that you don't know you're that attractive. It's awesome. I like that shit, right? Anyway, back to the guy side of things. Okay. where men have to be very careful when they think they are the prize. Okay, now, here's like the oxymoron or the double-edged sword of the entire thing. And we'll talk about this in another video, but if a man thinks he is the prize, or let's say he's delusional enough to believe he is the prize, then he has no motivation to improve himself. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of these guys kind of just sit in mom's basement and don't do anything. Men going their own way. There is some validity to that, let me be fair. Like, there's this one guy, okay, here's a great example of this. There's this one guy, what's his channel called? I actually like his content. Life 2.0. Or like, I'm not sure if that's what his channel is called. He's like an elderly guy. He's like in his 60s. He walks his dogs in the forest or whatever. And his entire channel is about how happy he is being alone and how marriage is the devil and all this. Now, that guy is a prime example of... No, I'm not trying to shit on other creators. I'm just trying to give examples. The reason why his channel does so well is because there is a delusion of I am the prize within that content. And so that's why a lot of guys like watching that shit too, to be fair. But if you object, Orion Taraban is kind of like that too, the psych hacks guy. Like, I guess what I would say is these guys think they are the prize on an objective level. Like, they're famous and they have a lot of money and they're like social media influencers and stuff. So on paper, they kind of are the prize and they've deluded themselves into doing it. But if you actually watch their content and listen closely, they get rejected left, right, and center by the women that they actually want. Because they're not funny. They're not like charismatic dudes. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're nerds. They're nerds. So those guys telling or believing in themselves that they are the prize isn't the best approach. Because basically, do you see either of those guys in the gym? The other guy goes for walks, to be fair, but they don't go to the gym. They don't work on their social skills. I've never seen them. I guess you haven't really seen, like, let me put it this way. Do you think that they can make a girl laugh spontaneously or spark attraction with a stranger? I would strongly doubt it, right? And it's like, anyway, back to, again, I'm not trying to shit talk on other creators, but I'm trying to just like, now there's the other guy, that LFA dude or whatever. That guy is the prize because he's funny as shit, right? Like, so you know what I'm saying? But that guy doesn't believe he's the prize. Do you kind of see the dichotomy here, right? There's like delusion and then there's like objective reality. And when you tell a man, it's kind of like the same with my friend, the ogre girl. Telling an ogre girl or telling an ogre guy that smells and doesn't shower that he's the prize is a bad move, man. But telling, like, let's say I have an example of, I have this one buddy, same kind of social circle. We'll finish up on this. I have another buddy who, he lives with his mom. Bear with me. But his mom is sick and he takes care of her. So they live in the same house. Okay. Second, he's like a mechanic. He works on shops. He works very hard. He works like 10 hours a day. He's not really a fit guy. He's like pudgy. He's like maybe like 10 pounds overweight. He's just like he's like a porker, right? But he's not like obese by any means. And he is social and funny as shit. That guy is the prize. He should be, I tell him all the time, I'm like, brother, you could crush it if you actually gave a shit. The reason why is because he's got everything. He's got it all. He's not rich, but he takes care of his own bills. Him taking care of his mother is not a red flag. That's a big green flag. Because she's sick. If he was living with her and she wasn't sick, that's a red flag. But she's sick, so that's a green flag. That means he takes care of the people and he doesn't abandon them when they're sick. Very good for a woman, right? So a guy like that, and trust me, so the reason why I brought him up, his self-confidence is like, he's been reverse brainwashed, right? So he's like, I'm not rich, I'm not fit, I live with my mom. All these things can be perceived as red flags. I'm like, brother, every girl you talk to is laughing their ass off. You are the prize. Just like, stop that shit. Like, wake up, you know what I'm saying? So again, without actually meeting people in real life, it's very hard to like, you are the prize, you are not the prize, you are, you're not, you are, you're not. It's very hard to like classify people. It takes a lot of self-awareness, man. And being rich and jacked does not make you the prize. Also, being obese and at the bottom and greasy and smelly, you are also not the prize. On the flip side, on the women's side of things, you are not the prize because the world says you are. You are also not the prize. Well, societally speaking, if you're very beautiful, then society views you as the prize. But objectively speaking, you still take a shit like everybody else, right? It's much more important. The girl that's like cute and sweet, that's the prize. And she should be told as such. The girl that's an absolute bitch, but a 10 out of 10, she is not the prize. You don't have to like tell her you're not the prize. You just like, I'm good. I'm gonna go for that sweet 7 instead, right? Anyway, guys, be very, very, very careful with know your worth brainwashing. It can go toxic in either direction. You really gotta look inward and see for yourself if you are the prize or not. And sometimes, here's the greatest mind fuck of it all, okay? Sometimes you actually truly are the prize, but you're in a dry spell, which is hurting your confidence, which makes you settle for less than you deserve. That does happen, but not all the time, but it can happen. And that's a very difficult situation to break out of when your experiences around you are telling you that you're not the prize, but you actually are. Find some good friends that can help you with that, guys. Anyway, hit the subscribe button if you like this topic. Leave a comment down below if you've experienced something similar like this, where you weren't the prize and now you were, and now you had a hard time changing your mindset. All right, guys. See you in the next one.